Interesting story coming out today in your home state,
Oh,
Adam.
my state? Oh, really?
Yes.
Well, what happened?
California mom Jessica Conan settles landmark victory against Spreckles Union School District for $100,000 after she claims her daughter was socially transitioned.
Wow.
A California mom who said her daughter was socially transitioned into a trans boy by her middle school has won a landmark legal victory against the district, who settled the suit for $100,000. Jessica Conan's daughter, Alicia, 11 years old, was allegedly told by Buena Vista Middle School in Spreckles that she was upset because she didn't know who she, quote, truly was inside. The school allowed the child to use the boys' bathroom and male pronouns in class without her mother's consent. Single mom Conan accused teachers of encouraging her daughter to think she was a trans boy when she was at the school in 2019, only for the child to return to her female persona while learning remotely during the COVID-19 pandemic. Despite not admitting fault, the Spreckles Union School District settlement marks an important moment in the debate across the U.S. about how parental rights fit in with children's decisions in school settings. Conan launched a legal claim against the school and two seventh grade teachers in 2021, claiming they kept her daughter's phony trans identity secret from her and hid that she's been having suicidal thoughts. The child is now attending high school in another district and has re-identified as a girl. In her court papers, Conan says her daughter, identified by her initials, AG, found distance learning to be difficult, but that there was a silver lining because AG was at home throughout the school days and she was no longer in the clutches of Miss Caldera and Miss Baraki, the two teachers, I presume, that were influencing her daughter. Freed from their influence, AG began to return to her old self. Once Conan found out that her daughter was being identified as a male and socially transitioned without her knowledge, she sued the school district. Following the landmark settlement, she told Fox News Digital, they need to understand their place, they need to stay in their place. In schools nowadays, they're awful. How do you feel about this story?
Well, I'm struck by, first of all, how young the girl is. I mean, she's only 11.
Yeah, I know. It's crazy.
So I mean, obviously, it's insane that a school would choose to take this path, which you would think would involve some sort of talking to professional clinicians or professional medical professionals. So it's odd to me that they would do this that they even can do this without consulting the parents in any fashion whatsoever.
Mm-hmm.
What are your thoughts?
Yeah, I mean, it's the thing that really strikes me again. So her daughter was 11 at the time that this started, which, like, imagine if she was a little older and they'd been like, her daughter starts identifying as trans and tells her mother, and she starts going on puberty blockers. And then she starts taking cross-sex hormones. And then she goes down that pathway. And the thing that's scary to me is, according to this article, the mother is saying that the only reason she stopped thinking she was trans was because she stopped going to school because of COVID-19. And so if it wasn't for COVID-19, if it wasn't for her daughter stopping going to that school, she very well might have gone down that pathway of puberty blockers and cross-sex hormones, double mastectomy and all that stuff. It's just, I mean, it really just, to me, shows the social contagion aspect of all this and how dangerous it is.
Well, you're dealing with kids who are particularly influential at a time when they are individuating from their parents, building their own identity, and teachers can often be mentors in that situation. So, the thing that bothers me about this is you really don't know the mental state of these teachers. So these teachers could be having influence that they're completely unaware of and misassociating their personal feelings about these issues or things that they're picking up in the kid as something like gender dysphoria, when really it's just they're socially influencing the kid.
Yeah, of course. I mean, and what right does a teacher have to put a child down this pathway without consulting with parents first? They don't have any right. It's like insane to me.
Well, I think there's even some more to the story here. So
There is, but also it's important to point out because I've said many times, I think a lot of the issue around the trans stuff is going to change when lawsuits start occurring. So I'm happy that this lawsuit occurred. Though this was a settlement, the school district settled, so they didn't win the case in court. So this won't create precedent going forward, but it's still a good sign of things to come, in my opinion.
right.
But so in Florida, as you know, Adam, they passed the parental rights and education law, which says that school districts are not allowed to socially transition children without the parents' consent. How do you think a law like that would go over in California?
So in Florida, they've made it illegal to do something like this.
Yes.
Like what happened here in California
without notifying the parents.
Okay, well that's good for Florida. California probably has followed suit, right? California's done something similar to that.
So
I'm assuming this lawsuit has made it so it's illegal for something like this to happen. Obviously, this was a big controversy. The school district had to pay out $100,000 to the parents. You know, they don't want to get in trouble doing that kind of thing in the future. So California is going to make it illegal. They're going to follow suit with Florida, right?
Adam. This is California we're talking about. It's just the opposite.
What?
According to the article, it says the victory for this mother came just days after the California Attorney General. So the Attorney General of the state of California sued a different school district regarding a new policy that requires teachers to notify parents if their child changes their identity or pronouns.
What? So the school district made a declaration that they had to notify parents if anything. If the kid wanted to socially transition at school, the school district had to notify the parents. This was a local situation.
Yes. And the state of California responded to the school district creating that own policy to sue the school district to tell them to stop. Yes.
So Sacramento came down to the local community and said, no, 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 no. This is interesting. What was the idea behind this? Yeah.
Attorney General Rob Bonata announced the lawsuit on Monday against the Chino Valley Unified School District in Southern California, alleging its parental notification policy is discriminatory and violates both the civil rights and privacy laws. He alleged that the policy puts transgender and gender nonconforming students in danger of imminent and irreparable harm by risking they'll be outed in their household before they're ready. In July, the district school board held a public meeting on whether to adopt the policy, which requires in part school personnel to, quote, out transgender and gender nonconforming students to their parents or guardians without their consent and even against their express wishes as per the lawsuit.
Well, this is insane. First of all, we talk about transgender issues a lot on the show, and we're not, obviously, I believe people have gender dysphoria and, will go on to be trans adults and live happy lives as trans adults. I'm not against the trans community here. The big thing that jumps out at me here is they're conceptualizing transgenderism the same as homosexuality, where it's like coming out. I don't think of homosexuality as a mental illness. Like gender dysphoria is classified as a mental illness.
Right.
So if you get cancer, it's not a question of coming out to your parents as a cancer patient, right? You need medical attention. So I don't understand how they can make this classification and use it under the right to privacy. If you don't have a right to privacy as a cancer patient from your parents. And
if you're a minor,
do privacy laws are they even applicable in this situation?
Yeah, I mean, I don't know what the state of California's privacy laws are. I mean, this kind of seems like BS to me because even in the Florida law, it's set up so that if the school believes that there's a credible threat to the child's safety, that they won't notify the parents. And so I presume that the school district could very easily set up the same thing if that's like the concern, just to alleviate that issue. But to me, the thing that's like kind of really gross about this is, so you have a different school district which is sued for doing this, for transitioning a child without telling the parents. That school district ends up settling for $100,000. Okay. But then,
so some admit, obviously they're not admitting fault in the legal sense, but that you would categorize it as some sort of admission of guilt.
Yes. And so then the state of California is like doing the exact opposite. So like, it's like a school district sees that this lawsuit is occurring and they go, oh, well, we don't want to get sued for $100,000. So we're going to create this policy so that this can't happen. And then the state government of California says, no, you have to hide this information from the parents. Get out of here with your school policy. You are going to get sued. It's disgusting to me. It's completely disgusting.
Yeah. It's a little insane. California needs to get their act together, I think.
Yes.
A lot of conflicting policy prescriptions going on here. So, do you have any final thoughts on the story?
No, it's good news and bad news. I'm curious to see how these two stories will play out in California.
Well, just one closing thing we've talked about before. We are waiting for the lawsuits to come down. Is the fact that there was this settlement some mitigating factor here? I realize that obviously there's not case law. And if they did decide to go to court, I don't know why the parents would if their child seems to be fine and they got $100,000 out of it. I think if the kid was on cross-sex hormones and may suffer infertility in the future, they might be, let's go to court. let's make an impression here.
Well, they can't go to court after they settled.
No, obviously they can't. I'm just saying, what is your take on this being kind of a middle step?
Oh, it's better than nothing. I think it definitely will. I'm assuming that the reason in California that these other school districts even tried to create this policy was because of this lawsuit. So it definitely shows that will have repercussions. And then that's why I think it's kind of disgusting that the Attorney General of California is then trying to stop kind of the natural progression of the school districts getting spooked by this lawsuit by actually suing them to prevent them from enacting this policy.
Yeah. We got to get some case law on the books.
Definitely.
One case.
Definitely.
Somebody's got to take it to court. Hi, you just listened to a clip from the Sitch and Adams show. If you like what you heard, you can listen to our live show right here on this channel on Sunday, starting at 1 p.m. Pacific, 4 p.m. Eastern. And if you want, you can super chat us. We read $20 and up super chats on the show and then do a follow-up stream on the following Tuesday where we read the rest of the unread super chats and interact with fans of the show. Subscribe to this channel right here to listen to the live show or to listen to more of our awesome clips.